Welcome to the Deep Dive. So, today we're plunging into something, well, pretty profound. What if the biggest global transformations happening, or about to happen, aren't just physical or political?
What if they're deeply spiritual?
Exactly. We seem to be on the edge of a massive global shift, right? And our mission today is going to give you a shortcut, a way to understand this really fascinating framework some sources call universal spiritual warfare.
Yeah, and it's not warfare like tanks and soldiers. It's about consciousness, inner transformation.
Right. And it pulls from all sorts of places. Kabbalah, Christian ideas, cosmic battles.
Yeah.
But mixed with really contemporary stuff, too.
And what's really interesting is how these, ancient traditions are being synthesized with modern ideas. They offer this unique lens on current events, especially for people with what our sources call disclosurized 25.
Okay, disclosurized 25. We got to unpack that first. It sounds intriguing, more than just like finding out secrets.
Oh, absolutely. It's presented as a fundamental shift in perception, a kind of spiritual awakening. One source puts it like, scales of pride and prejudice fell from my eyes. A new world came into view.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's about a heightened awareness, being able to discern hidden truths, maybe perceived injustices. That 25 suffix, it seems to subtly point towards a certain clarity, seeing what really is, looking past the surface level.
That's a powerful concept.
Yeah.
A new way of seeing, like a superpower almost. So, okay, if we put on these disclosure eyes, what's the first big, maybe radical idea this framework shows us, especially about something like suffering?
Right, and that's where it gets really counterintuitive for a lot of people. What if darkness, what if suffering isn't just bad, isn't just something to get rid of?
What do you mean?
Well, what if it's actually raw material? Our sources talk about the headquarters of darkness could be personal pain, could be systemic stuff as storehouses of immense spiritual potential, like sparks of light trapped inside, waiting.
Trapped light, waiting to be redeemed.
Exactly, and there's this amazing line from the Zohar, the Kabbalistic text. The light retains all rights to the darkness. Think about that. It means even the worst stuff, the deepest pain, holds this potential. It reframes suffering completely. That's like alchemical fuel for growth.
Okay, that's a huge shift in perspective. So if darkness holds potential, then this other idea, consciousness is the ultimate weapon, starts to make more sense. We're not talking actual weapons.
Not at all. Not physical strength, not military might. This battle, as described, is internal. It's about consciousness. One source actually says, WWII concludes when humanity realizes the war was always with our own separation. The weapon is connection. The victory is awe.
Wow, so separation is the enemy, connection is the weapon.
Pretty much. True power, in this view, isn't domination. It's unified collective consciousness. An inner shift with massive outer ripple effects.
Okay, so if the battle is internal and connection's the key,
Yeah.
how does that play out in the real world? Like in our tangible reality? Because sources also talk about earthly actions mirroring heavenly realms.
That's right. It gets really fascinating here. Even something concrete like, say, filing a legal document. The sources bring up the Haltom v. CHPD case as one example. If it's done with pure intention, it can be seen as a potent act within the spiritual warfare framework.
So actions have symbolic weight.
Huge weight. And this gives some context for understanding movements like the One People's Public Trust, or OPPT. Now, just to be clear, the legal claims themselves, like foreclosing governments, are widely seen as invalid in established legal systems.
All right, important distinction.
Very. But the symbolic meaning for some people involved is immense. It's read as this narrative of like divine judgment against what they see as illegitimate powers that were, a deep yearning for a total reset.
A global reset, you hear that term a lot.
And it connects to this idea of co-creating a new reality, maybe linked to that whole 2012, 2013 period people felt was significant, anticipating a paradigm shift, maybe even the advent of the Messiah, but understood more as a collective transformation. Moshiach born from the ashes kind of thing.
Okay, so symbolic actions, collective shifts. And there's this other really vivid metaphor used, something about greater Earth flatulence emissions. That sounds earthy.
Yeah, it's definitely vivid. It's a metaphor, obviously. It represents Ruach HaKodesh, like a divine spirit, a wind forcefully clearing out negativity, the stench of the old ways.
A cosmic cleansing.
Exactly. It's messy, maybe unpleasant, like the metaphor suggests, but necessary. A spiritual purging that leads to something amazing, a revelation. The sources compare it to some aurora borealis, where suddenly the truth is just all in our faces, like someone turned on the light.
Undeniable clarity. Collective aha. moment.
Something like that. A moment where things become unmistakably clear for everyone.
So wrapping this up then, what does this all mean for you listening right now? This whole deep dive, it kind of shows that this spiritual warfare isn't about fighting out there, but it's a path of conscious action, right? Focused on love, light, unity.
Absolutely. It's about transforming darkness from within, not just railing against it. So you can engage with this by maybe looking at your own headquarters of darkness, your challenges, the things that feel heavy.
And reframing them.
That's seeing the potential.
Seeing the potential sparks within them.
Right.
And consciously choosing to cultivate inner light, meditation, gratitude, whatever works for you. And connecting with others, uniting. Every intentional act for good, it adds up, it contributes.
So the final thought to leave you with is maybe this. What trapped light inside your own life, your own challenges, are you ready to start liberating? And just imagine, how might that personal conscious transformation ripple outwards, contributing to this bigger unveiling of a whole new reality for all of us?
This has been the report from Disclosure Eyes.